Hey everyone, it's LaShanda from Labors of Love here with another Therapy Thursday. So today I want to talk about voice. And I've still been thinking a lot about parenting. So this is going to fall under the realm of parenting, but even if you're not a parent, thinking about the roles we play. When we have a role that inherently comes with authority, so that could be parenting, that could be being a supervisor, that could be being a caregiver. How often do we make sure that the people we are supposed to represent or the people that we're responsible for have a voice? And a very specific example I like to give is that my daughters had a doctor's appointment today. It was their annual checkup, and we go in and they get examined. I really love our pediatrician. It's why we travel a far distance to see him, and we've stayed with him because he's really good at asking the girls questions. And I think that my husband and I are really good at letting them answer. And sometimes as adults, we can get really caught up on how our children are answering. So let's be real. Sometimes there's a fear of what are they going to say, because the thing about children is they're honest. If they're in a safe environment for them to be honest. Let's be clear that in some environments, if they know it's not safe to be honest, they'll learn how to lie. Even if that lie is to make a situation not seem as bad as it is, or to seem better than it is, or whatever that is. But I always appreciate when we go to the doctor and my children get to answer the questions for themselves. The accuracy of those statements, they're coming from kids. So when they're asked, like, so do you go out, like, what do you do for fun? And my kid's like, I play Roblox all the time. Well, it's not an accurate statement. She doesn't play that all the time. She does play it, but she spends a lot of time outside, like playing out in nature. She spends a lot of time running around doing all these things, but it's not for me to step in and be like, no, that's not it. Can she have a voice? And then can I provide supplemental information, right? That felt so empowering that my children knew that when it comes to matters of their health, they get to speak for themselves. We might think it's a small thing now that we have to answer all the questions for them. But if our children are going to grow up to be adults who need to advocate for their own health, but we don't give an opportunity to practice when they're kids, where are they going to learn it? Another example is if you go out to eat. That could be in a fast food situation. It could be in a restaurant situation. But when it comes time for someone to take the order, do we allow our children to use their voice? Now, sometimes I will ask my kids, would you like to order for yourself or would you like me to order? Right? So it's not necessarily forcing or demanding that they do it, but there needs to be an opportunity for me to be like, hey, would you like to do this for yourself? It's yours. And they get to stumble and forget and speak low. And I know with my son, especially when he was younger, he had a very soft voice. And there would be times when the tendency would be for me to address my child to say things like, speak up, they can't hear you. And instead it's like, no, the person taking the order can say if they can't hear or not, and they can ask for clarification or ask him to repeat. So there are so many opportunities that we have as parents, caregivers, supervisors, that instead of always being the voice for people, we can step back and allow them the autonomy, the empowerment, the agency to use their own voice. And then when they need support, when they get confused or they don't know what to say, they can always turn to us and ask for our help. But if we're not creating that intentional space, why do we think they're going to develop it? Then they become older, adolescents and adults, and then they get shamed for not being advocates for themselves or standing up for themselves or using their voice. But if they don't have an opportunity to practice, when are they going to actually develop that skill? So that's my invitation for us this week. How can we be intentional about creating space for our children, our employees, our whomever? When are we going to make space for their voice and give them opportunities to practice using them? If you want to reach out to me, you can find me at www.thelaborsoflove.com. Don't forget that I'm on all the social media outlets. Did y'all know I got a Patreon? Did y'all know that y'all get this free content every week and you can support that by being a patron? So head over to Patreon, Labors of Love, if you'd like to support that way. And don't forget, I got the podcast. Please go ahead and give us that 5-star rating, write a review, and share it with your loved ones and friends. Until we connect again, you all be well.